Honey Heart C. Hello, Mini Fans! Are you ready for a DIY project today? I'm going to show you how to create your own brushable horse from a Dollar Tree horse. Here we go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to get started is this horse. So I actually picked this model up at the Dollar Tree, so just $1 for this horse. Now, I particularly picked this one up because I thought it would have the easiest mane to work with. As you can see, its mane is raised off of its neck, so it's not laying on its neck at all. So this will be much easier to work with. Same thing with its tail. Its tail is not like glued to its body or touching its body in any way, so I thought this tail would also be easier. So I think this will be the perfect model to make it haired and beautiful. So then I'm also going to use some of this pretend hair that I also found at the Dollar Tree, just $1, and I just bought it in this black color, so just one pack of pretend dress-up hair. So to get started with our model, we need to prep it for the hair that we're going to be putting on it, because it's going to have real hair coming out of it, just like this horse right here. You can kind of see its tail, just like a Barbie horse. It's gonna have brushable mane and tail. Now, of course, for my younger Mini Fans watching, this is the part that you must have an adult help you. You have to. Safety is always first, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually place this model into some hot water. That way the plastic on it will soften up. But like I said, you must have an adult help you. So first we'll get started with the tail. So I'm just going to dip it into this very warm water. And now I'm just going to snip off the tail. Ooh! Kind of re-soften it up again. And now I'm just going to take these tiny little wire cutters and I'm just going to cut out the area where the tail was. There we go. Now I can kind of get my scissors in there, kind of create a hole for the tail. Take my clippers, and I actually just want to clip out some of the plastic to leave room for the tail. There we go, just like that. And of course, if you have any sharp areas of plastic, parents, you can always take a nail file, and just go ahead and file it smooth. And that way it will take any of the sharp edges down from the tail. Now that we have our opening for our tail, now we're gonna work on the mane. So same thing, I'm gonna dip my horse into some water, some very hot water, just to kind of soften it up. You can take your clippers or you can take your scissors and just start clipping off the mane. That's why it's a lot easier with this model that I found, because it has such a short mane, so it's a lot easier to work with. If you use your scissors, be careful not to cut off an ear accidentally. There we go. We almost have its full mane removed, so please be careful, but take your scissor and actually now jab it into the side of the mane that we're going to be putting the hair. Woo! There we go. Now we have an opening here on the neck. Now I can go in with my file and again smooth down any of the sharp pieces of plastic. There we go. This is looking so good. Now, unicorns are one of my most favorite things in the whole entire world, so I think I'm going to create this horse to be a gorgeous unicorn. So I'm just going to be using a toothpick to create the horn. Give it a snip. Woo! And now I'm going to build it up by using this air dry clay. So I'm just going to use a little pinch of it. Whoop. Now, before I actually put the clay on, I want to make sure that this is the right size that I want for my unicorn. And I'm just going to kind of snip it down to the size that I want. That looks pretty good. And now I'm just going to take my air dry clay, wrap some of it on my horn. And it helps if you dip your fingers in some water too, to just kind of help move this clay around. It becomes really easy to work with. And of course, if you just want to leave this as just a regular brushable horse, of course you can do that as well. This is your horse that you're creating. You can create anything you want. So take it and just kind of smooth that wet clay around it. There we go. So here is my unicorn horn. I'm just going to let this dry. All right, now the unicorn has had a chance to dry. So now we are going to attach it on. Now before I do, I'm going to actually make the mane a little bit longer. So I'm going to take a little pinch of clay and just kind of roll out some pieces here. This is just kind of going to be the main piece, and make a forelock piece, because I want this unicorn to have a really long forelock to match with its really long mane. So I can just take some pieces and just stick it right on here. Use that water to help kind of smooth the mane down. And it can look like anything you want. And I'm just going to take my toothpick and I'm just going to help this just kind of drag out and add some detail. And while that's still wet, I'm going to take my unicorn horn and I'm just going to stick it right on the top of the horse's head and just kind of make room for it here. That's exactly where I'm eventually going to be gluing it on. Maybe kind of trim it down a little bit. Woo! Here we go. That looks pretty good. It's all about getting the angle right for the unicorn. And now I'm just going to let the forelock dry. Now that the unicorn horn is all dried, I'm just gonna reinforce it with a little bit of some of this glue. So that way that the unicorn horn is actually glued on, and my toothpick and just help spread that glue around. There we go. Now the horn is nice and secured, so we'll let that dry. Now we can get to painting the unicorn, which of course you can paint your unicorn any color you would like. I'm just gonna create a gorgeous all black unicorn. So I got my black craft paint, put some on my brush, and I'm just going to paint. There we go, and I wanna make sure I paint inside of this area here where I cut. That way it doesn't show through whenever I put the hair on. Now that that first coat of paint is all dry, I'm gonna paint another layer on so it doesn't look so splotchy. Shake. There we go. I want a nice, beautiful, solid black color. All right, let's check it out now. After that second coat, still looking a tiny bit splotchy right here, you can kind of see. And on this side of its body. So we'll just go in with a third coat of paint. There we go. Third coat should do it. Now that I've got my 3 coats of black paint on, now I'm just gonna seal in the color by using some of this Duraclear Ultra Matte. I'm gonna give this sealer a really good shake. Dip some on my paintbrush. Then I usually just dip it in some water and then just paint. And what's really cool about this sealer is that it seals in the coat color, and that way it makes it much more durable for play or display. Now that the unicorn's paint color is completely protected, I'm gonna go in with a couple of little finishing details, like just some regular clear nail polish. And I'm actually just going to use this to just dot the unicorn's eyes, just to add a little more realism. And if the eye is a little sunken in, it will help to use a toothpick too, if you would like, just to kind of help you really get in there. And I'm gonna add gloss to the nostrils, just for a little realism. Now this part is completely optional, but I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna add some super sparkly glittery nail polish to the unicorn's hooves, just to add that magical touch. Oh, I love it so much. And of course, you can paint the unicorn's hooves any color, like maybe a metallic purple or gold glitter, whatever color you would like. You are in charge of your craft projects, and you can do anything you want. And I think even for some fun touch, I'm gonna add some of this glitter onto the unicorn's horn to make it even more magical and really stand out against her black coat color. Oh, she looks beautiful. Now, while all that nail polish dries, now we're gonna start working on her hair. So at the Dollar Tree, I bought this pretend hair, and this was in the toy section. There we go, take it out. Woo! So we've got this beautiful black hair. Now, of course, they had other colors. You can pick whatever color you want, whatever you want to work on your unicorn. And I'm just gonna take a doll brush. This is just a little baby alive brush, and brush out and smooth out the hair. I don't want any tangles. I want it to be nice and smooth. Now, this is Dollar Tree hair, so it is very cheap. So I wanna be careful how much I brush it, because it can tangle very easily. The cheaper the hair, the easier it tangles. Now, at first, when you look at it, it looks kind of like thin hair, but we are gonna double it up to make it even thicker, so it'll be nice and thick on our unicorn. So on the little headband piece here, as you can see, we've got a little braid. I'm just going to take it, fold my hairband like this, just kind of squinch it in my hands. The hairband could break, so don't let that scare you if that happens, not a problem. It looks like the headband actually broke, which that's fine. I can actually just peel the headband piece off, make it a little bit easier to work with. Woo! There we go. So now I've got my hair nice and smooth, and now I have it doubled. So now it's really thick. If you think about this being the horse's mane, that is some thick hair. There we go. And now I'm just going to decide how long I want the horse's mane to be, because I want to leave enough of this hair piece to be the horse's tail. So if I use about half of it, it should be pretty good. And I'm just going to take some tape, and I'm going to peel off a whole bunch and lay it out where I want my hair to gather. So gather it across my hair, like that. Flip it over, whoop, just like that. Take some more tape and right across on the other side, tape it that way as well. There we go. So now I got tape on both sides of my hair piece. And that's just going to hold it temporarily like that. And now I'm just going to cut it right next to my tape. Be careful not to actually cut the tape. Whoop. there we go. So now I'm gonna save this piece of hair with the braid for my tail. And this piece is going to be my mane. And now we're gonna fuse all of the hair together. I'm going to be using some of this fabric tack. This is basically just, instead of using a sewing machine, you can use fabric glue. For my younger Mani fans, you must have an adult help you. You have to always safety first. And for adults using this, please always use caution. Read all the warning instructions and all that before you attempt to use this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my hair prepped up and ready so I can prop it. So I'm just gonna use just 2 bottles of paint. One's Mod Podge, but I'm just gonna set those like that. That way I'm ready whenever I'm done with my hair. And I'm going to take my fabric glue across the top where my tape is. There we go, on both sides. And this is going to fuse all of that hair together. And I'm gonna put a lot on because I do not want this to come undone. There we go. And now that it's all sticky and wet, just let it sit right here on top of my paint. And that way it can just kind of drip down and drip off onto my wax paper. And now I'm just going to leave this hair to dry. So let's check in with the hair. It's been about 10 minutes. So now I'm just going to flip it and make sure it doesn't stick to my paper and leave it just like that. All right, it's been another 10 minutes. And again, I'm just gonna keep checking this and just keep pulling this up like this. So that way it doesn't completely just stick onto the paper, which is okay if it does, but I'm just gonna keep taking it and turning it just like that. Okay, so I let the glue dry overnight and now I know it's ready because I can actually pull on the hair and not very much hair comes out, just a little bit. If you have big giant clumps, then you're gonna need more glue, but this looks good enough to me. Peel off the tape. Just be kind of careful, and the tape should just peel off some of the glue. If some of the glue got on the tape, it's not a problem. We're not even gonna see this part of the hair anyways. And I'm just going to trim off just some of this. So it looks like the glue got just a little bit long here on this side, so I'm just gonna trim that down. Whoop, there we go, make that smoother. This piece is a little bit thin on this side, so I'll just cut that away, not a problem. There we go, now we're ready to insert our mane into the unicorn. Press it in using the end of my paintbrush. Just keep pushing it in, and then I'm gonna fold it over. So now it's kind of doubled on itself, and just push this mane in. There we go. So now I just shoved all of the hair inside of the horse's neck. There we go. Check it out, you guys. Now, so here now you can see the unicorn actually has her hair in, and she looks so beautiful. Now we're gonna work on her tail. So same thing. I'm just now going to take the rest of my hair piece, fold it in half, and this one's got that braid on the top. Smooth it out with my brush, and I want to fold it again. So now it's been folded up several times. So now that I have my hair all folded up, I'm just going to take it here and just give it a little twist. I'm just making it a little bit more easier to manage. So I'm just going to twist my hair. I'm gonna take a rubber band, or you can take a little ponytail holder, anything you want, and real high up ponytail this hair together. There we go, keeping it nice and smooth. I want to keep it nice and super duper smooth and pull it all the way up to the top here. So here is what I have. I just have all of this leftover hair bunched together. This is going to be our unicorn tail. And again, I just want to take a whole bunch of some tape, give it a twist, and tape up my ponytail. There we go. Now it's all taped together. Now I can remove my rubber band. And now I'm going to take my fabric glue again, and I'm just going to put some glue right on the top portion of my ponytail, going all the way around. Here we go. And I'm gonna let that dry. Same way, I'm just gonna kind of loop it right here. All right, it has been drying, so now let's check it out. Cut right above my glue. Cut this hair from the rest of the braid. Whoop. There we go. So now I can toss this. We do not need this anymore. And I'm going to glue now the top piece here because I want to make sure this hair stays nice and fused together. I'm going to add a whole bunch of glue inside and on the tip here. Just fill it with glue. Glue all that hair together. There we go, and let that dry. All right, so it's had plenty of time to dry. So now I'm just going to peel away the tape. All right, there we go. Now the hair may be a little bit too big to fit into where the tail's gonna go. So that is not a problem. I'm just going to trim down the hair just a little bit. Now it should be all glued, so with me trimming this like this, it should be no problem. problem. And if you get any cracking at all, just like this, where you can kind of see the hair separating a little bit, I'm just gonna add on some more glue because I wanna make sure I really reinforce this. This has to be really, really strong so I don't lose a lot of hair whenever we put the tail in. And I'm just gonna let that re-dry. Now it's time, we gotta get the tail in. We have to get the tail in now. If I really have to, of course, I can cut down the tail tip, but I just wanna see if maybe we can get this whole tail in. So here we go. Just start putting it in. Oh, almost. Oh, I think I got it in. Yes, I got the tail in. Okay, so I just had to cut it down just a little bit. Yay, but the tail is in. So I'm just gonna give it a little pull because I put a lot of stress on the tail part of the body here. So I'm just gonna kind of pull it back out. Yes, okay, it was just so much tail. But it's in, you guys. Ah, oops, it looks like I bent one of the legs pretty bad. So it just cracked some of the paint, but you know what? Totally worth it. So now I'll just go back in with my black paint and I'm gonna touch up all of those areas that got strained by the hair. So right here at the neck, and of course, we're gonna touch up this leg and around the horse's tail. I am so happy though that the tail got in. I just wanted her to have a super duper thick brushable tail. There we go. You guys, I can't believe how awesome this unicorn is looking. Now I just have to give her a haircut because her mane is super duper long, which of course I could leave it like this, but I'm just gonna cut it up. So I'm gonna take her mane and brush it out smooth and cut. Woo! So I still wanna keep her mane super duper long. Kind of trim some of these extras here. There we go. She's got a super duper flowy mane. And now for her tail, just take it and brush it. And it's kind of scraggly here, so I'm just going to take that and just trim off the extra. Woo! There she is. So here she is, you guys, the final reveal. I am so excited about how this brushable horse turned out. Absolutely, totally cool. Now, of course, I kept her mane and tail super duper long, but of course you can always cut it down. I love her unicorn horn that is super glittery and sparkly. Her hair is just so soft. It's extra soft, and I kept it really thick. And especially her tail. I'm probably the happiest that her tail actually worked out. You guys saw me working and really trying hard to get it in, and I'm finally happy that it did get in. Yes, I could have cut the tail down, of course, you know, to make it fit in, but I wanted to keep it as thick as I possibly could, and she does now have a very thick tail. It's actually kind of thicker than this Barbie horse's tail, just because I kept it so thick. Even though it was so hard to get it in, it was totally worth it. So here she is, and it absolutely turned out. So she's got her mane inside of her body, and I'm just so happy. So yay! So using a Dollar Tree horse and using Dollar Tree hair, you can create your own little brushable horse just like this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you happen to create your own DIY horse or unicorn, please send me a picture. I would absolutely love to see what your brushable horse looks like. She's totally awesome, and she fits in with the rest of these other brushable horses that I have. Have the most amazing day ever. Make sure to brush negativity out of your life and keep it out. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, magical unicorn mini fans. Hello, mini fans. You're at the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this DIY craft. Who was paying attention? Who remembers, did I add this glittery nail polish to her horn or her hooves first? Bye, mini fans. Oh, I can't stop brushing her hair. It's so super duper soft.